The No Fate channel, checking in. On this episode of the Supplement Review, we are going to discuss that age-old question. The question that's been around since the dawn of time. Should you have creatine monohydrate in your pre-workouts? If this is your first time to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. On this series, I review a supplement on every episode to help you decide if it is right for your fitness goals, your health needs, and most importantly, that hard-earned money. And from time to time, we just have one of these discussions to kind of spitball ideas on whether you should have creatine in your pre-workout. There tends to be two sides of the fence, people who love it in their pre-workout and then people who absolutely hate it. I want to know in the comments right now, which side of the fence are you on? Do you like, love, and absolutely must have creatine in your pre-workout, or do you hate, despise, resent any pre-workout that has creatine in it? Drop it in the comments below. Before I go over the arguments against and for putting creatine in your pre-workout, let's quickly go over a few fun facts. Your body makes a little bit of creatine every day. In fact, creatine can be found in your food sources, predominantly in meat like beef and fish, and I think, if memory serves, salmon has the highest density of creatine per weight. Now, creatine as a supplement has been sold forever. Let's just say 30 years, just for the sake of argument. They've done tons of actual, real clinical studies behind it, and frankly, it works, okay? There's no negative side effects as long as your kidneys are, if your kidneys are functioning properly, there's no absolute negative side effects. How much should you be taking? 5 grams a day. You don't need to load it. You don't need to cycle on or off of it. 5 grams a day is all you need for, let's just say a 200-pound individual or up to 200-pound individual. If I miss any major pros or cons, drop them in the comments below. I'm going to try to keep this video as succinct as possible. So let's talk about the benefits of putting it in your pre-workout. First and foremost, you should be taking creatine around the same time every day. And for many of us, we work out around the same time every day. So that's one pro. Another thing is with regards to how creatine works. Creatine is supposed to improve your ATP signaling to allow your muscles to drive faster, to lift heavier. So ideally, you want to get it into your system before you work out. So that's another reason to put it in your pre-workout. And probably another reason to put it in your pre-workout is just so that you remember. Oftentimes, if we've got a lot of individual ingredients, it becomes hectic and frankly almost a nuisance to kind of like take a scoop of this, take a scoop of that, take a scoop of this. Oh, what did I remember? What did I miss? How much is a scoop? If you put it in your pre-workout, boom, you put one scoop, you're good to go. So those are the major pros, the major arguments for putting creatine in your pre-workout. Tons of companies do it in the supplement industry, and a lot of people like it. Again, it's just convenience. It's that one-stop shopping. You take a scoop of pre-workout and you don't have to kind of fight around to find other bottles or cans or whatever. And you know that if you take that scoop, you should be getting the amount that's on the back of the label. A lot of people love creatine in their pre-workout for that reason, and many people just don't necessarily care enough to avoid pre-workouts with creatine in them. But why wouldn't you want creatine in your pre-workout? Let's get into it. First and foremost, for many people, creatine can cause bloating, water retention. And if you're on a cut, if you are trying to look good, if you're trying to look tight, then you might not want creatine, especially if you're one of those outliers that gets excessive bloating from taking creatine. Besides bloating, there are a few other good reasons not to put creatine in your pre-workout. Another reason would be that many people like to specifically time their creatine. They want it at the same time every day, regardless of whether they're working out, not working out, rest day, interval day, strength day. They want it at the same time, regardless of what that time is. Some people like it at night, some people like it in the morning, some people like it pre-workout, some people like it post-workout. Now, if you put it in your pre-workout, then you can't necessarily know that you're specifically going to get it at that exact time, because for many of us, we do lift different times of the day, and we do take, from time to time, we work out those rest muscles. I haven't found the rest muscle yet, but I'm still looking for it. Another reason against having creatine in your pre-workouts is that some companies will actually do two things. They will either underdose the amount of creatine in the pre-workout, so you're not getting a full 5 grams of creatine monohydrate, or they will use other forms of creatine in their pre-workouts. There's other forms of creatine. Some of them, or many of them, are thought to either absorb easier or quicker, and then therefore you don't have to use as much creatine in them. Regardless of that argument, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Many people will just simply not want creatine in their pre-workout because they want to ensure that they're getting 5 grams at the same time every day and that they can quality control the type of creatine they are going to get. Specifically, in terms of creatine monohydrate, I have Creapure, which is like the trade name creatine. It's made over in Germany. That's why I'm kind of holding up this bag. And in terms of purity from your basic creatine monohydrate versus Creapure, the purity is supposed to be like 99 for the basic, all the way up to Creapure, which is like 99.9. I do know some of the cheaper, and I don't want to call anyone out, but some of the cheaper, super cheap companies or no-name companies, their creatine is manufactured in Asia, and the quality control on that is quite poor. I've heard stories of people finding like hairs in their unopened bottles and some nasty stuff like that. So which side of the fence am I on? If you have been subscribed to this channel for quite a while, you know I pick favorites and I never, ever stand right in the middle on a subject. So if you haven't already commented below which side of the fence you're on, which side of the fight you're taking, you better do so now because my argument might just sway you. Personally, when I see creatine in my pre-workout, I just don't care. And what I mean by that is I never avoid a pre-workout because it has creatine in it, but I never give a pre-workout any, upvotes because it has that creatine in there. I can never assure the quality of that creatine unless it's a really reputable company, and there's only like a handful of companies that I trust with regards to putting creatine with their specific quality and the specific amount in their pre-workouts. So overall, I like to see pre-workouts without creatine. Now here's why. Here's the main reason. As I mentioned, quality control. I happen to prefer creatine monohydrate as my source of creatine. I happen to want to make sure I get a full 5 grams per day, and I want to make sure I take it at the same time every day. And I like to go one step further and make sure that I am using Creapure Creatine because it ensures the quality is above reproach. As I mentioned, there's some shady supplement companies selling creatine dirt cheap, and it's some nasty stuff that probably doesn't even resemble creatine. Also, creatine is relatively inexpensive. I mean, like one serving is like a nickel, literally a nickel. And when you go with Creapure Creatine, you're not paying an arm and a leg. You might be paying like 5.5 cents per serving. I mean, it's literally super cheap, especially My Protein's version. And this is the small bag, but you can actually get the massive bag to bring that price point down super low. This isn't like a review of the Creapure Creatine Monohydrate. I've already done that. But I would say if you're going to go with creatine, this is my argument, mind you, take it as a standout, as a standalone. Get yourself Creapure Creatine because, again, that cost point is not much higher than just your generic creatine that might not have as good a quality control. I would argue to take it 5 grams every day, and I would argue to take it at the same time every day if you're as anal retentive as me. Now, hopefully I have swayed you onto my side of the fence, but certainly I would not tell you to avoid a pre-workout because it has creatine in it, unless you get excessively bloated by taking creatine, in which case you might want to avoid creatine altogether. Hey, listen, hopefully you found this little bit of a discussion, this little back and forth informative. Let me know if I've changed your mind, or let me know if I've helped you solidify your stance on this highly debated topic. If you've come this far in the video, do me a favor, give this video a like, hit that subscribe button. If you're looking to pick up My Protein's Creapure for any sense or any reason, I will put affiliate links and coupon codes in the description of this video. It does help out the channel, and I do appreciate it, and we will be best friends. As usual, thanks for watching, and don't save anything for the trip back. I am dedicated to helping you be a great parent to your children and still accomplish your own personal goals. I provide ideas and insights to help you save time, money, and your sanity. 3 things that are in short supply for every parent out there.